What's up guys? Welcome to AnimeKouhai. If you'd like to help me out, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel.
Amari wanted to exclaim, but realizing it wouldn't resolve the issue, he opted for a change of topic.
The crux here is that, at some point, there existed someone on this planet capable of producing God-class equipment.
Oh, come on! These are all just myths.
Could you please think before you speak? You're more astute than that. You have tangible evidence right in your grasp, and you still won't consider it.
My apologies, sir.
Amari gave Delia, who was offering a hurried apology, a sidelong glance. Now he was certain of it. The goddess Cardina had to be Velgrynd the Scorched Dragon. It might have been a series of coincidences, but when stacked together, they formed an undeniable truth. A truth that prompted Amari to mutter aloud.
To think that Velgrynd was on this world.
The statement delivered a profound shock to one member of the meeting.
Velgrynd? Did you say Velgrynd?
What's wrong, Emil?
Emil, who typically carried an air of indifference, suddenly exhibited peculiar behavior. Disregarding the curious gazes directed at him, he began to mutter to himself, a trait stemming from the instincts of Emil the human, not the Yohma. The rest of the group, unaware of this, anxiously awaited the revelation of the discovery he had just stumbled upon.
Yes, indeed, that's correct. She's present in this very world. In which case, we're...
Emil's heart was gripped by sheer terror, a sentiment stemming from his Yohma side. Yet within him also resided a fierce determination for self-preservation, and that was Emil Hayes, son of Laurent, who still clung to existence within that body, deceiving the Yohma into believing he had been entirely subsumed. The fear that Velgrynd might be working against them shattered the Yohma's control over his body. Emil seized this opportunity and fought with every ounce of strength he possessed. His mind clung to a recurring image, a memory of a beautiful, benevolent woman whom he had adored like a grandmother, a mother, and a big sister. A memory of her embrace, a source of boundless solace. The woman who had cradled him in his youth was Velgrynd. Thus, Emil called out to her, seeking any aid he could muster.
Help me, Velgrynd.
This desperate plea inadvertently became the catalyst for a profound transformation.
You called upon me, Emil? I have come to rescue you.
She materialized suddenly, uttering those words. Considering the fortress-like security of the Yohma's base, her appearance seemed almost unjustifiably effortless. She was none other than Velgrynd, and given her previous feat of nearly obliterating Ramirez's labyrinth, the Yohma's barriers might as well have been non-existent. The Yohma could hardly be faulted for their dumbfounded silence. Even the typically composed Amari Masahiko had not anticipated an outcome like this. While he was aware that Velgrynd had played a role in this world's history, encountering her in this manner, before he could take any action, was beyond his expectations.
Velgrynd, why are you here?
You recognize my name, I presume.
Naturally. Didn't you collaborate with our Lord Feldway to aid Emperor Rudra in his conquests?
I suppose when our keywords are linked, our timelines can synchronize like that, can't they?
What?
Never mind. If you don't object, I have certain tasks I'd like to attend to promptly.
Amidst the chaos, Amari Masahiko found himself grappling with the unfolding situation. If only they had sensed Velgrynd's presence earlier, they might have taken precautions, but the threat had caught them completely off guard.
This is a major slip-up. But how? Someone of her caliber shouldn't be capable of interdimensional travel at all. We've been pouring all our efforts into expanding our underworld gate, yet we still haven't managed to make contact with Sir Cornu.
Velgrynd stood shoulder to shoulder with Cornu, if not exceeding him, and her magical prowess was beyond Amari's comprehension. But how had she managed to breach into this world? He had no answers, nor did he understand her motives. Ideally, he wished to avoid confrontation for the time being. Nevertheless.
Errands?
Oh, just a small favor. How about you give up on invading this world and return to your own? If you comply, I'll overlook this whole ordeal.
Velgrynd delivered her ultimatum with a smile, but beneath her words simmered with anger. These beings threatened the people she held dear, and her animosity towards them was palpable to Amari.
This is serious. She already sees us as foes. But I don't understand. Wasn't she allied with Lord Feldway? Wait. Time synchronization?
His brilliant mind raced, piecing together the truth behind Velgrynd's declaration.
Oh, she's come here from another timeline. She may not be aware of our current situation, but she didn't react to my mentions of Lord Feldway and Emperor Rudra. It's likely she's privy to all events up to the present. And given that Sir Cornu's directives haven't changed, something must have transpired at a future point in time. It's plausible that
Amari deduced that she had jumped into this world's past from her key world. His intellect was sharp, but unfortunately, time was not on his side.
I'm not here to bargain, understand? You've really gotten under my skin.
She didn't bother with pleasantries. Amari knew he had to act swiftly. Meanwhile, Velgrynd remained composed as she reached out a hand towards Emil, whom she had drawn closer at some point. Her intentions were clear. She aimed to separate Emil from the Yohma, which was on the brink of total assimilation. The Yohma resisted fiercely, but it seemed only a matter of time. In that case, Amari thought, they should make the most of the time they had.
We're eyeing a world where Yohma and humanity peacefully coexist, you know. It's a shame you can't wrap your head around that idea.
Well, beings with intellect won't readily get each other's one-sided desires.
True enough. But unfortunately, we can't afford to throw in the towel.
Is that your stance?
Yes, indeed.
Velgrynd grinned.
Silly fellows. All right then, folks.
The impending clash hung in the air. Both Yohma and humans were surprised by the sudden arrival of these individuals. Human warriors, already the mightiest in their world, found this situation even more bewildering than the Yohma.
You were summoned here. You must go, all right? Go and rescue that person.
After these words, Velgrynd vanished abruptly, leaving Amari and Emil to contemplate her message. They had been disoriented from the start, and now, amidst it all, found themselves summoned to this unfamiliar place. They hadn't even realized they had been transported across physical space. There had been no visible gateway, they had simply materialized in this new location without warning. In essence, it was teleportation, simultaneously affecting a group of about 10 people, a truly remarkable and supernatural feat. It was an act of divinity, something Tensei and the other human warriors representing their race here could scarcely comprehend. The directive, "all right, folks," offered little in the way of guidance. In times of adversity, it was crucial to assess one's abilities before anything else. In examinations, the rule of thumb was to skip questions you didn't understand and focus on those you could easily answer first. This strategy applied to tasks as well. By tackling the aspects you were confident in, the rest often fell into place. Fortunately, some among the group recognized each other. Identifying familiar faces among themselves, they began to engage in discussions. Tensei turned his gaze directly to Amari Masahiko, a student and close friend.
Masahiko, you now want to surrender to the Yohma. His Majesty deeply grieves your absence. Pull yourself together and return.
He started with these words, hand ready to unsheath his sword at a moment's notice, gauging the reaction. Minamoto, always by Tensei's side, echoed his sentiments.
Amari, you can't let the Yohma win. Please, don't lose yourself.
Like Tensei, he appealed to Amari's rationality, betting on his true self resurfacing, on his ability to overcome the Yohma. However, Amari's response was unexpectedly swift. The internal conflict between his human and Yohma sides still lingered unresolved. Before he could continue, Amari faced an unexpected development, standing at a crossroads. The immediate concern was the presence of Velgrynd. He hadn't rejected her ultimatum because he believed he could defeat her. On the contrary, he knew defeat was now inevitable. So, he terminated negotiations to provoke his allies, understanding they stood no chance against her. The question was, what action to take? Evacuating the current location seemed the most sensible plan. They could have accepted Velgrynd's proposal, but that was swiftly dismissed. Agreeing to her terms meant achieving none of their strategic goals. The blame would squarely fall on Amari and Pulcinella, something Amari refused to accept. Strangely, the Yohma's defeat felt somewhat liberating. Ultimately, Amari's human side was prevailing, which made Tensei's appeal hit home. His human heart urged alignment with them, while his Yohma intellect adamantly refused to acknowledge defeat. His human sensibility deemed escaping futile, yet his Yohma instincts trembled in fear of Velgrynd's threat. Amid these conflicting thoughts waging a battle in his mind, Amari experienced acute anguish.
Yes. The Yohma's greatest vulnerability lies in their fragile sense of self. If only they were granted names, it would establish a stronger sense of identity for all of them. But then again, that's precisely how I overcame this Yohma. Yes. I am Amari Masahiko. I could never be a Yohma.
Tormented, suffering in a way only a human would, Amari's struggle was evident to Tensei and Minamoto, who believed they were on the right track.
Masahiko, remember, don't lose sight of your allegiance. Who do you wield your sword for? Strength must serve a purpose, or it descends into sheer brutality. Have you forsaken that vital lesson?
Amari reminisced, his loyalty pledged to His Majesty the Emperor, his sword dedicated to protecting the vulnerable.
Kandu fought valiantly until the end, Amari until his last breath. Both of you were our heroes, shining like the sun. But now, Kandu's fall seems tied to the Yohma. You don't truly plan to ally with them, do you?
While he couldn't confirm with absolute certainty that the Yohma were responsible, Amari believed it. fueling his conviction that such a betrayal could never be forgiven. Something snapped within his mind, and he ceased contemplation, heeding the pleas of his own heart. Meanwhile, Xianhua engaged in conversation with the Yohma.
It's been a while. Destiny seems to have brought us together here. Words are unnecessary between us. Let's get to it.
With a fearless grin, Li Jinlong raised his fists. Despite being in his 50s, merging with a Yohma had seemingly restored some of his youthful vigor, intensifying his obsession with Xianhua.
You never quit, do you? How many times must I defeat you before you admit defeat?
I'll never admit it. Not unless you kill me. I know you were stronger back then, but that's history now. I'm determined to keep challenging until I emerge victorious.
Li remained unwavering in his pursuit of becoming the heir to the Dragon Fist, even as a Yohma.
Your perseverance, at the very least, is unmatched.
Haha, victors write history, regardless of the means.
Li then launched an attack, swiftly closing the gap between them, appearing as though he was gliding across the floor. His right fist, held forward like a missile, crackled with energy, channeling power from every part of his lower body down to his toes. Combined with his Yohma strength, the resulting impact could shatter an ordinary person. If Xianhua had taken that impact head-on, even she might have been incapacitated. However, she moved with the grace of a fleeting leaf, elegantly sidestepping the strike and deflecting it effortlessly. But her impressive feat didn't end there. Crackling with electricity, her delicate hands intercepted Li's advancing fist, and seizing the opportunity, she spun gracefully.
That's it for this video, guys. Thank you for always watching my videos and supporting my channel. A big thanks to the AnimeKouhai patrons who made this video possible. Jared Bressler, Chad Vota, Nate, Marl Barsha, Hansel Ortega, Karam Faraj, Efrain Hernandez, Luca Gaming WTF, William Locke, Jordan Mersha, Orion Booker, Mr. Santo, KACP9R. Thank you so much for helping out. I'll see you guys in the next video.